Good afternoon, my people. What is going on? It is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome each and every one of you to episode 160. We're going to find about 3 ways to make the current interest rate environment work for you. But before we get started with all that, you know, I got to practice the attitude of gratitude and say thank you to each and every one of you who are here with me as we stream live across the Facebook Wealth Our Way page and the YouTube Wealth Our Way network page. If you haven't taken the time to do so, please subscribe to the Wealth Our Way network YouTube page. I also want to give the Wild Nation salute to everybody who watches this program in its pre-recorded fashion overnight, over the weekend, on their lunch break, wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in. And last but not least, a heartfelt how are you to the good folks on the Life 101 platform. They get the chance to listen to the audio recording of this very here program. So happy Tuesday, everybody. I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. It always makes my heart sad when I can't communicate and connect with Wild Nation. I hope you had an amazing weekend and your week is off to a wonderful start. I'm hearing so much talk right now about the entire economy just keeping people up at night. You guys can thank the media for part of it, but the other people you have to thank is yourselves, good people. I famously talk about all the time how I am so disconnected from television. In my crib where I am at right now, there is no television. Okay, a little bit of a lie. My son stays here 2 weeks with me, and then he goes to his mom's for 2 weeks. He couldn't take it anymore, so he brought his TV. It's in his room. He just uses it for video games, I believe. I'm not sure if he's watching programs, but I don't need television. I don't need the outside influence of the media directing my thoughts and just giving me these visions that everyone else is suffering from. Because the reality is this, my good people, there is nothing going on in today's economy that hasn't went on before in the economy. Even if someone were to say that's not true, cryptocurrency didn't exist before. When it's not cryptocurrency, it's some other newfangled change or outlier that comes into the economy that shakes things up a bit, whether it's a new commodity, whether it's a new bundling of different financial packages to make a new derivative. There's always something new going on. And unfortunately for the common person who is just trying to go on with their life and make sure they're doing the right things with their money, there is a whole industry that gets paid to keep you worried, keep you investing, keep you changing your assets, wanting to get you off course. They hate the thought that you have made a plan and that you're going to stick to it. It's very difficult. I am currently, for some of you who follow me personally on social media, I'm currently doing a mental toughness challenge called 75 Hard. And although the person who invented the challenge goes over the top to tell you it's not a fitness challenge, a large part of the 75 Hard challenge centers around fitness. So I have to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, certain diet restrictions, all types of stuff in the name of building good mental health habits and becoming a new mentally tough person. Mental tough, not mental health. So with that being said, I'm struggling. It's hard out here for a player in these mental tough streets. That's my struggle. I see that a lot of my audience struggles with the financial side of things, and I'm here to help you. So one of the things that we're all dealing with right now, our interest rates are going through the roof. The Fed did a 0.75% rate hike to the Fed funds rate during their last meeting. Let's talk about what that means before I get into the program today. The federal funds rate is what we here in the States call the interest rate. The federal funds rate is the rate that the Fed, which is the Federal Reserve Bank, it's the bank of the banks. It's the rate that the Fed lends money to every bank it does business with. Why is that important to you or I? It's important to you or I because the banks that we do business with are the banks that are borrowing from the Fed. So it's almost like they're a middleman. Bank of America, Chase, whatever bank you use is a middleman. Wells Fargo, we walk into those doors because we can't go knock on the Fed's door. They can knock on the Fed's door. So if they're in business to lend us money, they're not doing it out the kindness of their hearts. They're charging us. What are they charging us? They're charging us a rate that is slightly higher than the rate they were charged. So when the rate that they were charged goes up and up and up, it makes the ultimate rate that we're going to be charged higher and higher and higher. What do we mean by we're charged rates? We are charged rates when we borrow from banks. What do we borrow from banks? We get our mortgages from banks or other lending institutions. We get our auto notes from banks or other lending institutions. We get our credit cards from banks or other institutions. The less secured and thus more risky the proposition is for the bank, the more they charge us. So normally when rates are rising, one of the hardest hit sectors are credit cards. The variable rate that your credit card is allowed to charge you goes up and up and up when the rates that these banks get charged from the Fed go up and up and up. So interest rates are important. There's also a bigger and more important, in my opinion, play on when interest rates go up. When interest rates go up, everything as far as our general economy changes a bit. And why is that and what does that mean? Tank, explain it to us. So if I'm a company, I'm the ABC company, and I'm doing business. Every company, save one or two, ultimately gets its money through sales revenue. They are selling things to someone, another business, the public, whomever. They are selling something. That's how their revenue comes in. When interest rates are going up, people at their house are more likely to say, I'm not buying today. I want to make more money on my money by putting it in an account that has a higher interest rate. Or I'm concerned that things may cost more, so I'm going to hold on to my money and not spend it right now. As a result of this, company sales tend to lag when interest rates are raising up. There are certain areas that this is not true about. They're called consumer staples, toilet paper, food, things that we got to have regardless of what's going on with the economy. They tend to be resilient during rising price times, rising rate times. But things that are discretionary, which is a lot of what we do in this country, they get hurt when this happens. If they get hurt, their revenue goes down, stock price goes down because we're not willing to pay for a company that's not doing very well. So if our money's in the stock market, we tend to see a little bit of a hurt period when rates are going up. The other reason the stock market doesn't do too well when rates are going up, once again, I told you, you now have the option of going into a bank or a bond and getting a pretty good rate of return when rates are going up. Well, if we put our money into a CD or a treasury bill, these are things that we consider to be risk-free. They're insured by the bank or they're backed by a federal government that has the ability to keep printing money. As a result, we consider these rates to be the risk-free rate. If the risk-free rate is going up, it makes something that I have to take risk to partake in look a little shaky to me. And the stock market is that shaky thing right now. So people tend to flight towards safety when rates go up. So how can you benefit right now from the interest rate environment that we are currently in? 3 ways I got for you. Way number one, I've talked about before. You have to at least take a look at these current I-bonds that are out here. They have an interest rate north of 9%, and they have very little punitive repercussions to getting involved in them. Yes, you have to hold them for a certain period of time, but I'm not going to go into it at length. Look at the previous episode that I did dedicated solely to I-bonds. You can get an I-bond for as little as $50. So you don't have to have a lot of money. You can move money into the I-bonds right now and get a rate of return that you're going to love. So that's way number one. Way number two, I talked to you about interest rates going up. As interest rates are going up, your credit card rates are going up. Right now, banks are falling all over themselves to offer 0% interest rates for you to switch to their credit card. So you can move your balance off of one credit card onto a new credit card. And instead of paying 14, 15, 22%, you can pay 0% for a fixed amount of time. It normally goes between 12 and 18 months. Why would a bank do that? Why would a bank offer you a 0% rate when they could get 14, 16, 22%? It's like the crack man. Normally the first hit is free and then they charge you and get you hooked. People at banks, when they do these promotions, they don't expect you to be able to prudently handle the advantage that you were just given. They expect you to move this money over, pay no interest for 12 to 18 months, and then keep using a credit card like crazy. And now they've got a new interest paying customer. But you come to Wild Nation, you know better. You're not going to get caught in that trap. You're going to use the promotion for what it is. And then you're going to put your card on ice and only use it in case of emergencies like we talk about here on 15 Minutes of Finance. If you do that, you can save thousands of dollars in interest payments. Warning, your credit score is affected by what percentage of your balance on your credit card you are using. So if you get a new credit card that says we're going to let you move $5,000 over at 0%, don't move $5,000 over because you're now using 100% of that available credit. It's a little tricky. And then you also have inquiries to deal with. However, you have to weigh the two against each other. Is saving hundreds to thousands of dollars worth an inquiry? Is it worth maybe exceeding your 30% of your credit card? You have to be the judge of that. The last thing I will say is kind of much more simpler. I am a customer of Navy Federal Credit Union, and I just got an email about the rates in the savings account and the money market account going up. As I said, the rates work both ways. Now, they don't work fairly both ways. The increase in what they're paying me on my money market or savings account is not commensurate to what the increase is that I'm being charged on card notes, credit cards, or mortgages, but it's still a raise nonetheless. It is now a time for you to look at your bank accounts and see if you have money sitting dormant in checking accounts that are making you no interest, that you can move into an interest-bearing account. The slightest change, you move $1,000 over and you're getting 1% more money, that is $10 a year. $10 a year may not sound like a lot of money. I'm be honest, it's not a lot of money to me, but to some people, $10 is a lot of money. And if you play your cards correctly, you can move over enough money to gain interest that offsets one bill, offsets something that's a small subscription you're paying for. So those are my 3 tips. Check out the iBonds. Look at these 0% credit card rates. A great place to look at them right now is NerdWallet. I'm not paid to hype up NerdWallet, but they do a good job of telling you the different financial nuances that are going on. And lastly, move your money out of accounts that are not paying interest into accounts that are paying interest. So remember, tomorrow there is no Financial Power Hour. I hope you all enjoyed Jude Bernard last Wednesday. We'll be back on next Wednesday with a new Financial Power Hour. The next time you'll see my handsome face will be Thursday for another edition of 15 Minutes of Finance. I want you guys to all enjoy this beautiful summer that we're having thus far. Protect yourself from the heat. Don't go too crazy worried about your finances. This too shall pass. Everything will be okay. And remember, wealth is not only for the wealthy. You guys take care.